Holiness is the idea of being distinct, different, set apart. And in the Bible, it means distinct, set apart, different from what we used to be. So when God asks us to be holy, set apart, consecrated to Him, devoted to Him, and then Peter says, in all manner of conduct, I think the clear implication is this: we should look and be different than we were before God. Holiness is what makes us distinct. So our actions, now that we're Christian, are different than the actions that characterized us before we were saved. You know, there are 8 what I would call vice lists in the New Testament. In those lists, over half of them begin with sexual sins. And in fact, if you combine all of the list, 30% of the sins in all the vice list are sexual in nature. And so if you were to ask me my opinion, what is the best way to show our distinctiveness? What is the primary way we show that we are not like we used to be, but that we are set apart to God now, not to the world? I think when the culture sees that we are different, that we're holy in our sexual beliefs and behavior, it makes the largest statement. It speaks the loudest about who we belong to. After all, 1 Corinthians 6 does say that our bodies are not our temple anymore. They're God's temple. They belong to Him, for we've been bought with a price. And so today, I just want to remind you that holiness looks like someone who's willing to obey God, not follow the culture, and to conduct themselves in a way that shows they're clearly distinct from the old way of living. And how does that show up first and foremost usually? By a different type of sexual belief and behavior. Let me encourage you today. Don't run with the culture. Obey God and be holy unto the Lord.
God wants you uncommon, I said. When the world is depressed, you have the peace of God. You are uncommon. All right, when marriages are breaking down, and people are saying it's very common nowadays, the easy way out, you all know, is divorce. When people say it's common, for everyone is using profanity and this word and that word and all that, it's very common. Yeah, that's why stones are not precious. They are common. But you, young man, young lady, you are uncommon. Dare to be uncommon. Dare to be different. And practically that's called holy. That's holy. Because opposite of holiness is not sin. It is commonness. Don't throw away your common sense. Because common sense nowadays is the uncommon sense in the world. Okay, when someone tries to ask you to buy something, you know you don't need it. Common sense says no, no need. All right? No, 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 no thanks. No. Common sense. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people who don't care. So who cares at the end of the day? All right? Learn to say no. And learn to say no without feeling guilty.